Bowman in the morning. Common Sense Radio.
Good morning, you bunch of drunks.
Annie, there are people outside of the studio who are very unhappy with you.
Shame on you for supporting the fur industry.
You should be so proud of yourself.
Just want to let you know.
That means I've made it, right?
I really want to be yelled at like that someday.
Shame on you for supporting the fur industry.
We can arrange that.
You know who they were screaming at? Patti LaBelle.
Poor Patty.
This poor old lady who's, wrote a book. And there are like 40 of them screaming at her.
Shame on you for supporting the fur industry.
Patti LaBelle. Patti LaBelle is going to be at the bookstore. So we can get out there and attack Patti LaBelle. Lord. Hey, Terry, how are you? Thanks for calling the show.
Hey, thank you. Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning this morning.
I just wanted to say that I think the term fascist is too good of a term for these guys. I really do. I think it should be left-wing terrorists. I mean, they're dressing up in their black outfits and covering their faces. I mean, what cowards. They don't even want people to see them. I mean, granted, in Berkeley, a lot of these kids had their faces showing, but I just think that's it's too good of a term.
Right. Well, you know what? You're absolutely right. And before you get away, Terry, I want to make one thing clear.
Shame on you for supporting the fur industry.
So I want to make sure you shame. But to your point, there was this in Portland. They have this 82nd Avenue of the Roses parade, and the thugs out there in Portland threatened to pull Republicans out of the parade, like physically pull them off of the street and attack them. And you know what they did? They canceled the parade.
Yeah.
That's terrorism. And you're right. That is terrorism.
Hey, just wanted to ask you one more thing. Just curious. What do you feel about Ted Cruz's idea of using, this is off the subject, but of using the money from El Chapo?
Yeah.
If they can, I think that's a great idea.
Excellent idea.
$14 billion, was it, to support the wall?
Yeah, I mean, and good for Ted Cruz for not being the other Republicans and shying away from the wall. He's helping President Trump.
Yeah.
God bless him.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, and he's a good man, and I think it's a great idea. These other guys, these other pansies are all, walking the wall thing back. So good for Ted Cruz. Terry, thank you so much for being on with us.
Oh, hey, thank you. And thank you, girls. Have a great day.
All right.
You too.
It's Terry. All right, so these people on the left tried to run something by you, Annie Frey.
They tried.
And you didn't buy it, right?
No.
What happened?
No, so ESPN News, like the cable network that you watch to find out what the score of the hockey game was or the baseball game, whatever, you've probably noticed that it's gotten exceedingly political lately. Well, it turns out that the bottom line is not being met at ESPN, so they've laid off 100 of its reporters and analysts. And a lot of people are speculating, a lot of people say this is due to Netflix, Hulu. People are accessing their entertainment in a cheaper, more, on-demand way. We got an article here from thinkprogress.org, which is just a wonderful bastion of really great factual news. I'm joking.
Annie Frey reads that so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Thanks, Annie.
Yeah, don't pay me enough to do that. So, but what they're saying is that there's this myth that there's this liberal ESPN. You have to really think back on the last couple years of some of the stories that have come out. Michael Sam was a big one that is local here. When you have a gay NFL football player, the St. Louis Rams end up drafting them. It turns out we find out later down the road that there was kind of some dealing going on. And at the end, this is good for the NFL. This is good for us. We need you to do this. And Stan Kroenke and what's his face, Fisher, they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. We'll do whatever you want, clearly.
Right.
But what happened is people are turning ESPN off. And this argument that Netflix and Hulu, that people are going elsewhere for their entertainment, that's false. Because only reason I have cable or satellite or whatever I have anymore is so that I can have news and sports.
Right.
Yep.
Because those are the things that happen live, and those are the things that I can't replay. I can't go back, and I'm not going to go back and watch yesterday's Sports Center. I'm not going to go back and watch yesterday's, news show or whatever. People are tuning this out because sports is where we go for entertainment and for a getaway.
If we can find it, I can never find it because I can't work the clicker. But anyway,
Just ask your kids; they know how to do it. But I mean, you have all these stories. You have the Colin Kaepernicks. They gave Caitlyn Jenner like the Person of the Year award or whatever. I mean, they're making statements. They're choosing to make statements, and they're almost always leaning to the left. And America has been saying enough now that 100 very prestigious people in the industry have lost their jobs because people are saying, no, this is not what we want.
Well, and this progress thing is like, oh, this is a myth that ESPN is liberal, but you have some proof here. The cut number 21, right? The montage. Watch out for the montage.
Begin today with the growing controversy over a bill in Arizona that would allow retailers to refuse to serve gay customers.
It's so clear how weak our justice system is and how few protections are in place for women even outside of the NFL.
Right, like the military is voluntary as well, but we know most people that go into the military in this country, they need the military often to pay bills. That it is almost a federal safety net financially. And by the way, you'll take shots.
Bill O'Reilly, today's worst person in the sports world.
Yeah, so you get the picture there. A montage is actually French for think progress is full of crap.
Totally.
I mean, that goes on for 2 minutes.
It does.
So,
and it's really implicating of how our society's gone, and I think it has a very good relation to Donald Trump's victory, because Donald Trump has said we've had enough of this. Donald Trump's biggest enemy has been the media, has been the press, the people who are not disseminating news and information. They're giving you their opinion after they ingest that news. They take in those facts, and then by the time it gets out of their mouths onto your television screen, it's their opinion. It's their version of that news. And people have said, no, when it comes to sports, I'm not interested. Right. There's enough other places I can go to get this information that I'm not interested. And now it's cost 100 people their jobs.
It's amazing. And it's amazing how they're just trying to deny it. Deny the reality of it all. Annie Frey, the Annie Frey Show, Saturdays from 5 to 7. It's a great show, by the way.
Thank you.
We're heading into Cinco de Mayo, so we might just be
need to get on it.
Doing the old tequila Saturday.
I can't wait for
Is that
Tequila
next week?
Saturday.
Yeah, it'll be next week, so we'll prepare for that.
Tequila Saturday.
Oh yeah, it's becoming a thing now.
Yeah, I'm gonna come down here on Saturday
during the Annie Frey
for
show.
the Annie Frey show, and we're gonna drink tequila.
Yeah,
I never get invited to this stuff.
It's an ongoing process. You can have an invitation right here, right now.
And we're going to take advantage of the
feels so important now.
Of Lyft, since it's brand new. So we're going to use Lyft, just in case anybody wonders. At Annie Frey Show on Twitter. Thank you. Have a good show this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, it's Common Sense Radio.